Hello, everybody. Kelly Kleiman with the Prospect Blueprint on the eve of the NFL season. And of course, college football has just gotten rolling. What if you could combine the excitement of sports wagering and fantasy sports with the same rules that apply to the stock market, where each player has a value that could potentially increase over that player's career, and you could profit based on your investment of virtual shares in that player? Think about it. How much money could you have made if you bought virtual shares of Tom Brady, the prospect, at let's say 10 cents a share, and based on the defined rules and benchmarks of 401sports.com? His value now would be at $140 a share. The numbers are staggering. You would have made $1.2 million in Tom Brady. What if you bought virtual shares of Albert Pujols, the prospect, at let's say $2 a share, and now he's worth $120 a share? 10 years later, and you held on to that stock. A 1K investment would have yielded $60,000. A $10,000 investment would have yielded $600,000. If you love sports and you're looking to invest in something you actually understand and have a passion for, why not invest in the careers of Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, David Fletcher, Wander Franco, or Mac Jones, just to name a few? That's right. You can now buy into professional athletes like you can buy into an IPO or any stock only at 401sports.com. That's 401sports.com. We have a stock market, so why not a jock market of sorts? By the way, it's not classified as gambling. It's gaming. The Mac Jones IPO today sold out in 15 minutes, and I was fortunate enough to buy five shares at $20 each. I figure with Belichick as his coach, it's a solid investment. Tomorrow is the release of Justin Fields, Logan Webb, and Kellen Mond. I hope you can jump in on it. Again, it's 401sports.com. Tell them Kelly sent you, and have a good time. It's unlike anything you've ever been involved in sports before. It's real money, potentially real big money. My guests today are David Wu, the founder of 401sports.com, and John Hess, his marketing exec, who is the international top gun for Nike marketing in a recent incarnation. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
Happy to be here.
Thank you.
John, give us a 60-second elevator pitch on how you play this game.
So it's pretty straightforward. I mean, if you're at all familiar with E-Trade or Robinhood, you're going to be familiar with a lot of the terminology, and everyone is familiar with fantasy sports in some capacity, right? So really, there are two ways in. First way in would be to go in for one of the many IPOs that we have, and we have IPOs daily. So there are lots of options there. Get in, kind of at the starting point there, and get those stocks. If there's something that you miss and something that you want to get more of, then you go to the trading floor. And the activity, every stock that is active is available or is listed on the trading floor. And you can click on get details for each one to see which ones are rising, which ones are falling, and then you'll be able to place buy orders and get the stocks that you want on the trading floor. You also, once you've got those stocks, and if you see they're moving up and down and you want to get out of something and get into something else, it's really easy to go onto the trading floor and sell the stocks that you have as well.
Now, these are virtual shares.
These are virtual shares of real athletes.
So the question that you basically just answered, but let's kind of, if we can, focus on it. Is this fantasy or an actual stock market with real money invested?
So this is classified in the same class as fantasy sports. We are simulating a stock market, but it's really not like the stock market. There's no selling short options. There's no quarterly reports. It's just the games. You just watch the games, watch your favorite players or athletes that you think will go up, then just buy them. It's just like picking a player for your fantasy team that you think is going to score a lot of points. That's all it is.
And the numbers can increase pretty quickly. And certainly it's an interesting investment if you love sports and you don't understand the stock market. How do you set the values for the athletes? And once the IPO is set, how is it adjusted?
Once the IPO is set, the market takes over. The secondary market dictates the price from that point on. Before that, the IPO price is set by us. And we have kind of a part science, part art to this. We gather data from the last 70 to 90 years of sports and drafts. and we calculated the expected value based on our valuation system, the expected value of each athlete given certain draft position or certain hype and so forth. And the art part is, take for example, Zion Williamson. He had a lot of hype. So naturally his price is going to be a little higher. And that part is more arbitrary. But we typically like to IPO an athlete in a sweet spot where the users can make money. And that's the key. That's the mission of our company, is to create something that is so different from what you see out there today. Traditional fantasy, traditional gambling companies, 1% to 2% of the users make money. On our site, we're out to change that. We want a vast majority of our users to make money.
So it's basically performance-based. The athletes, the payoff, I should say, is performance-based. I'm going to do that question again. So are values based on stats? Is it all performance-based, or do you factor in other things like endorsements, popularity, so on and so forth? Because a guy like LeBron James probably makes more money outside of the game than he does playing.
So currently, the book value is based solely on performance, solely on accomplishments, statistical or awards. And those are the only factors that determine a book value of an athlete.
How is it played? Let's just go through it right now, and we'll put some graphics on the screen as you talk. We'll kind of walk us through the process. We go to 401 Sports, you sign up, you register, take it from there.
Go ahead, John.
Sure. Yeah. So, you take it from there, you sign up, you register, invite your friends, we hope, right? And get more people involved, because that'll give you an opportunity to make more bonus funds along the way. The first thing you want to do is deposit some money into it, like any market, right? So very safe, very easy way for us through ACH debit, through your bank, to be able to deposit whatever funds you want to use. And then we will match some of those funds the first time that you deposit that. And then you're either off to the IPO center or you're off to the trading floor. If you're there at 9 o'clock at 9 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, I'd say go straight to the IPO center and see what's available, because there are always going to be really exciting athletes. Both smaller investments. Just this morning, we had somebody at $20. Tomorrow morning, we're going to have a couple different people. Some people are going to be at 25 cents, and others are going to be up in the higher range as well. So there are different ways that you can get in. And then after you make your purchases, after you get your stocks, go to your portfolio. Take a look at your portfolio and see how much cash you've got, see how your cash versus stock ratio is working out, and then go to the trading floor. See who's on the trading floor, see who else you're interested in. There are lots of different athletes, 3 different sports. We've got football, baseball, and basketball up there now, with more sports coming. And put in some asks, put in some bids, and see if you can sell some of what you just bought to make some more money. Or there's somebody that you're really excited about, or you're a really big fan. Say you're a huge Angels fan. We've got Shohei Ohtani on there. He started at $20 and now he's at $50. But he's only going to go up from there. Or if you don't want to go that deep into it, go with David Fletcher. David Fletcher started at 20 cents and he's now at $1.60. So he is 8x'd right now. And there are lots of examples of that. You can play some bigger ticket items. Mac Jones at $20 today, or you can play the sub-dollar range, and there are several different opportunities there.
Let me add this, Kelly.
Yeah,
so what's exciting, I mentioned earlier about users making money. One of the most exciting things for us is that some of the users have already made a 6-figure gain on their portfolio. One in particular has made close to $500,000 already in the first month. We mentioned Mac Jones. That was exciting, a very exciting step for us. That was the first big draft pick for the NFL that we IPO'd. And I'm glad to report that within minutes, it sold out. So tomorrow we have more coming, and the rest of the week, including Trevor Lawrence, an hour before his debut. I anticipate all these guys to sell out pretty quick.
Sure. So how do you choose the athletes for the marketplace to begin with?
So we have this dartboard. No, I'm just kidding. we typically like to IPO somebody that is somewhat in the news or have done something noteworthy.
IQ rating, as they would say in Hollywood.
Yeah. And we also occasionally like to mix in somebody a little bit under the radar, but athletes that we believe has a high potential. So nobody really knows about them. Like a David Fletcher, right? David Fletcher, I believe is a great player, and we IPO'd him at a very low number. Fortunately, some of our users are very, very knowledgeable, and they gobble them up really quick, and they reap the reward for that.
What's the limit on shares that are available, virtual shares that are available?
So every stock is different.
Mhm.
We base it on what we believe the market will demand, and we add a little bit to it. And then so far, the last several weeks, every IPO has sold out in minutes, some in the first second. So if you don't click on that buy in that first second, they're gone. So it's been extremely exciting for us. I mean, this is a dream come true for me. And for me, for about 20 years, and John about half a year to almost a year, we're so excited about what we've done. We're so proud of it because we have created something that users will love, and they can make money. Right? Everyone loves to gamble, but you can only gamble so much. After a few days, you're out of money. And if you want to keep going, you may lose your house or your car, your wife, all that stuff. What we've done is so amazing because people can play this for years and years. And most people, we don't know it yet, but it looks like most people will make money on our platform.
That's kind of interesting because in today's day and age, when you have to stay at home and you're working remote, a lot of people like to trade at home. They like to do this at home, and it gets to be very complicated over time. A lot of people don't really understand what they're doing with the stock market, and they're dealing with brokers and people who give them advice. But in this instance, sports fans know sports very well. It takes the broker out of you go direct to the trade desk, so to speak. And that's exactly what 401 Sports is. It's the trade desk for this. Do you have the permission to use athletes' names, images, and likenesses as part of this marketplace?
Yeah, because we're a game,
Mhm.
we don't need their license, but we definitely would like to partner with athletes. So any athletes watching right now, give us a call. We want to partner with you. We want to promote your IPO. And there's something in it for everybody, for you, for us, for the users. And we can make this truly exciting. The more athletes we have with us. Another thing that you mentioned. So John you talked about sports fans know sports. John has this very, very true and funny saying, the one common trait that all sports fans have is that they think they know more about sports than the next guy.
Right.
and that for that reason, we're going to be a big hit.
Yeah. Put it to the test, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, just sports are so much more universal and the knowledge is so much more universal than the knowledge about Tesla or Apple or Google or Facebook. Yeah, those are bigger companies that people know a little bit about. But I promise you, a sports fan knows I know way more about the Boston Red Sox and the Arsenal Gunners and the Boston Celtics than I do about what's going on behind the scenes at Facebook or Google or Apple or any of the companies that are hot on the trading floor at any given moment, because I'm a sports fan and I can look right into it. And we obsess over ESPN, we obsess over SportsCenter. This stuff, it defines us. We're a member of these tribes. And for us to be able to invest into these memberships that we've given ourselves, I think it's really exciting and an incredible opportunity for people to take advantage of their passions.
Of course, let me put the quotations on the invest. It's simulate, it's a game that people play. Yeah, but definitely could be played as an investment, and which is why we called it 401 sports, like a 401k.
And you mentioned Amazon and some of the bigger companies, Apple and such. Most people can't afford those stock shares, right? You could certainly afford on going in on a Trevor Lawrence right now, or a Mac Jones, as I did earlier. It's a lot more reachable, I think, than it is trying to spend $150 a share, $250 a share for some of these really, really big companies. Are you going to use any women? Are there what's the female athlete that's on the horizon? Who's the first one that's going to be up for grabs?
So one of the groups we're talking to, we're talking to the National Women's Soccer League here in the United States, as well as the WNBA. We haven't laid out exactly who it is yet, or which one of those sports is going to go first, but there are definitely going to be women on here. And then as we get to golf, we get to tennis, those will be huge considerations. I mean, with everything that's going on right now at the US Open around the women's game, some of those young names that are coming up, like Raducanu, it's so exciting to see her play. I can't wait to get some of these women like that. And like I said, WNBA, WNSL, great opportunities. They'll be there soon.
What's the minimum and what's the maximum investment?
The minimum is $10. The maximum is up to your imagination.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said, if you had put 60K on Albert Pujols back in the day, you would have made a fortune by now. I think it would have been something like, if you would have put $10,000 on Albert Pujols, it would have been a 600K payback. Pretty nice.
600K, yeah.
So do you have your own fees associated with buying virtual stock of each athlete in the marketplace?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, do you have your own fees associated with buying athletic virtual stocks?
Like a transaction fee?
Yeah.
Yep.
So every transaction, we have a minimum of 25 cents and a maximum of $99. And all the transactions are charged a 1% transaction fee. So if you do a $100,000 trade, 1% is 1,000. You don't pay 1,000, you pay 99. But if you buy a $1, right, it's not 1 penny, it's 25 cents.
Got it. Now, here's the big question, because it seems too good to be true. And anybody who knows this kind of business, investment, fantasy sports, what have you, knows that there's always something that doesn't go expressed. There's got to be a way that the house makes money. So how do you make money? How do you earn and manage that money that backs the book value?
So we've mentioned the transaction fees, that's 1%. Some of us actually believes that would generate the most amount of revenue for the company. As we've seen the user behavior so far, we're still starting out, but people are enjoying this. And as we grow in numbers, the transactions are going to go up, and that revenue is going to be significant. On top of that, our IPOs, we mentioned about the art and science about it. They're geared for us to cover the future payouts. But our future payouts are, in most cases, 20 to 25 years down the line. So during that time, we're kind of like an insurance company taking your, I shouldn't say that, but collecting your premium and increasing that premium. And then when the time comes to pay for the policy, there's plenty of money there and then some. So that, from that perspective, we're like an insurance company. And then we have other ways of generating revenue, affiliates. We would be affiliates with other companies. My last company, we had a partnership with a fan gear site, and we ended up generating quite a bit from that, just pointing people to do what they would normally do anyway. We had a lot of fans on our site that wanted to support us, and I imagine that would happen here as well, because I really believe that fans of our site, users on our site, they're going to see a different company. They're something that they've never seen before. What we're setting out to do, how we're going to treat users, it will be unheard of. And it's going to, like the Seinfeld line, right? It's real. How does it go? It's real and it's magnificent. That's how I think that's how people are going to feel about us, because we're going to treat people like they should be treated, like users of a company should be treated. So can't wait for that.
Well, let me ask you a question, because again, it's the most obvious question. How does a person lose money? Let's say I put some money in a Mac Jones, which I did today. I put a hunch up, and he gets injured 2 years from now or 3 years from now. I mean, that's the risk that's at hand, correct?
Yeah, let's hope that it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people just invested in Mac Jones this morning.
Yeah.
$20. I just say you bought 10 shares, you spent $200. He gets injured before he's accomplished anything. Let's just say it's career ending. Let's not put that on him. Some player X gets injured. Yeah.
Sure.
Gets injured, and I'm a big fan of Mac Jones. Gets injured and is career ending. So no longer playing. So his value basically is zero. So you've lost $200. Yeah. So in that scenario, unfortunately, you would lose money.
Right.
And that's why I think the great way to play this game is to diversify, just like in this normal stock market. If you diversify, you're going to be protected, because some of these guys are going to make it, right? This draft class, the 5 first round QBs, 1 or 2, maybe more, right? I mean, there was that year with Elway, Jim Kelly, and Dan Marino, right? There's 3 right there. That could happen this year, right? But if just one of them make it, you're going to make money.
Yeah, you have 3 Hall of Famers right there.
Yeah, in one draft.
Yeah. Sure.
And there is another scenario, though, too. So say player X plays for a little while, plays for a year and a half, and his book value increases up to the point where you made your investment, right? Mm-hmm. So he plays really well. And by the time he gets injured, his book value is at $21, right? And his career is over. You can cash out on that. We guarantee that book value. Whatever that athlete earned, we will pay out on. So, if somebody gets injured right away, that's how it works. But if an athlete has an incredible couple of years and the book value increases to that point, when the career's over, you can cash out on that and get your money back, or a share of your money back, depending on where that book value is.
Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck. Yeah, that's a good example. How would that have worked? That would have been the same exact scenario.
Yep.
Yeah, and he may make the Hall of Fame. Who knows, right? Then you're actually going to make a lot of money. But even right now, you didn't lose all your money with him, because he had a great several years before the injury hit him.
And do you have a menu that's itemized on exactly what causes an increase in value?
Yeah, it's in the stock rules. Yeah,
that's in the stock rules. Great.
It's on the site. Yeah.
Right.
Everything is transparent. That's the beauty of our model. Everything is transparent. Unlike the stock market, where you have no idea, they give a report, you don't know if this is real. Right? You're reading this quarterly report. It's like, well, I ran a company, and I can give a report and make it sound as good as how they make it sound, but I can read between the lines as well. So there's no transparency in the stock market. No, you're not in the board meeting when they're panicking and then, hey, how do we spend this, right? In our game, when Steph Curry scores 40 points, no accounting firm can convert that into 80 points. It is 40 points, period. And everybody in the world saw the same thing. There's no inside information. There's no board members with inside information. Everybody saw 40 points. That's the transparency we're going for.
Sure. Well, let's talk about the board. We've got another 3 minutes to go here. So tell us about the management team of 401 Sports. What are your backgrounds and why are you qualified to run this marketplace?
Well, not to toot my own horn,
Horn.
but
Toot it.
I founded Rotohog.com. It was a stock market based game in the mid 2000s. And I started that company with a Wharton professor that is the foremost authority on risk management. His name is Ken Smetters. We ran that market beautifully, and that game was adopted by the NBA as their first official fantasy basketball game. And they called it the NBA Stock Exchange. I think some of your viewers probably remember that. We were the largest independent fantasy sports site in the world. And I don't want to really bring in my education, but we learned a lot about that. And I don't think this qualifies, but I 3x my portfolio in the stock market last year.
Congratulations.
And John, I'll let you talk about yourself.
Yeah. So I've been in and around sport my entire life. Grew up around it, and then I was at Nike for 15 years. So I was in marketing and advertising, brand management there. Worked at Converse, Jordan, Nike Golf, a little bit of everything, and have continued to work in and around sports since I retired at Nike a few years ago, and then connected with David about a year ago, a little less than a year ago, and then started with 401 Sports in the spring. And I feel like my experience in and around the sports world, in and around the marketing, communications, and advertising world, it's a perfect marriage. The minute Dave and I met one another, we just thought, okay, let's find a way to make this work. And then Adam Slotnick, who is our chief product officer, ran fantasy sports at Fox and Fox Sports, and has put together an absolutely amazing website for us. And there are just so many more plans to continue to improve upon it. When we were talking the other day, and he's like, I've got thousands of new ideas. So innovation is in our blood on this one. And we'll just continue to make the game that much sharper, that much more enjoyable, that much easier to play, and hopefully that much more profitable for everyone.
Well, I want to thank both of you for coming on today. This is an amazing idea, and I really look forward to playing along. Now, folks, click the link below to find out more about 401 Sports and how you can invest in something that you not only understand, but have a passion for. Gentlemen, any final words?
Have fun.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Have fun, make some money, and enjoy the season. The IPOs are out this week. Check it out as soon as you can. There's some big quarterbacks coming out there here shortly, all through the week, actually. Your favorites. Well, folks, I'm Kelly Kleiman. You have just listened to the Prospect Blueprint. Have a great day.